All right, I'm going to go through some of the trial testimony with my own commentary, along with what was testified to. I was convicted of 2 counts of misdemeanor stalking in Lenawee County, Michigan. Bogus counts brought by the Tecumseh PD. A bunch of bad actors that all know each other. There's a ringleader in this. He's a prominent local attorney, Mr. Michael J. Brooks. And I'm going to just go along and add my commentary as we go. I think first off, you'll hear me speaking before the testimony to the jury.
And right in the statute for stalking, harassment does not include constitutionally protected activity or conduct that serves a legitimate purpose.
And I'll stop right there. Everyone should know that filming in public, in a public place, on a public sidewalk, a public street, a public building, anywhere the public is allowed to go, is your First Amendment right to the Constitution of the United States and state of Michigan. And then I also say if you have a purpose, like some of the stuff I was investigating in my local neighborhood, ordinance violations that were being overlooked by the local municipality there in Tecumseh, where they'll come down on certain residents about things. Other ones, they let a lot of stuff slide. Who you know, who you know.
I will show that all of these times I was within my constitutional right.
And even before I go on, the state presented no evidence against me. There was zero evidence. It was all hearsay by so-called witnesses that all know each other and are linked to Mr. Michael J. Brooks.
And I had a purpose, and I will show you that. Please weigh my evidence compared to what the state presents. That's all I'm asking. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Snead.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people called Maritza Martinez.
And that was the assistant prosecuting attorney, one of them for Lenawee County, Isaac Snead. And the first witness is a former neighbor. And I'll just let the testimony continue with my added commentary. Hopefully my dogs don't bark during this.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I will.
Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Maritza Martinez, Maritza. Martinez, Martinez.
Thank you. Can you move a little closer to the microphone?
Sure. Well, how closer can I get?
Speak softly and we're
Okay.
recording. Mr. Snead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Martinez.
Good morning.
Ms. Martinez, do you know the defendant, Stephen Crosway?
Correct.
And could you describe what he's wearing, please?
Glasses, a suit with white shirt.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd ask the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant, Stephen Crosway.
Mr. Crosby, any objection to that?
No, sir.
The court does take notice that the witness witness has identified the defendant, Mr. Croswell.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Martinez, where do you reside?
Pardon me?
Where do you reside?
Can
Where do you live?
Oh, I live on 216 West Kilbuck Street, Tecumseh.
Thank you. And did Mr. Croswell used to be your neighbor?
Correct.
And how far away did he live from you?
3 houses away from the block of my house. I live in the corner of Maiden Lane, and he lived on Maiden Lane. So 3 houses on Maiden Lane.
Thank you. Now, going back to September 21st of 2021, did you know who Stephen Croswell was on that date?
No.
Did you have an interaction with him on that date?
Yes.
And what were you doing on that date?
I was going on my run, and I was waiting for my running partner in his house. That's where we always meet, back at his house, the funeral home, first funeral home. And we were going for a run, and I seen a man taking a picture of trash. It was my running partner's trash, and I had asked him, can we help you with something? And my running partner as well said the same thing. He goes, no. He goes, how about you smile pretty to the camera? And I said...
The word pretty was never used. If you watch my other videos, the only thing I said is, do you want to smile? For the camera. Maybe for the camera. I don't even know if I said, you want to smile? And then I said, Marissa. I didn't even know her name correctly.
How do I know you? Like, you're talking to me so that you know me. And he goes, I know all you do. I know what you do, Maritza.
Didn't say any of that.
I said, okay, well, you're kind of creeping me out. You know my name. So, and I never seen him before.
So let's just go back.
Okay.
Clarify that. So you see an individual taking pictures. Was that the defendant?
Correct.
Taking pictures of garbage that is illegally put out against the city ordinance. Prosecutor.
And how far away were you from him when you saw him taking those pictures?
Not very far, like 7-10 feet away.
What time of day do you normally go on your run?
7 o'clock in the morning.
So in September, was the sun up by that time?
Correct.
And you recall what he was wearing?
He was wearing a hoodie, but I can't remember what color was it.
Now, he told you...
It was red, and my hood wasn't up.
To smile pretty for the camera?
Correct.
Was he holding a camera in his...
Again, the word pretty was not used. This is an added word, probably coached by somebody.
Correct.
And did he ever point the camera at you?
Correct.
Never pointed the camera at her. I had a body cam on my body, but I only took pictures. And when they say camera, we're talking a cell phone, an iPhone with a camera that I took a picture of the yard waste on the curb with.
Did he take a photo?
I don't know if he did because he didn't say he did, but I mean, you can't see it. Your phone, it doesn't sound like it. You know what I mean? You know when you take a picture on a regular camera and it's like you hear the button. So
you believe he's taking a picture with his camera?
Correct.
Phone. And his other statement was, I know a lot of things.
About you.
About?
The statement was, I know everybody's name. Which, it's a good idea to know who's living in your neighborhood. I suggest everybody be familiar with who is surrounding them in their neighborhood, especially this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
And when you heard him say that, did you believe he was referring to you and not your running partner?
Correct, because he was talking to me, not to him. And my running partner had it on video because my running partner had a GoPro, and he had GoPro and he had it running.
Now, how did that make you feel?
Unsafe, and I called my husband. My husband said to call the cops. So as soon as I got to my run,
So let's call the feelings police. No law was broken, mind you. There was no law broken. But the feelings police show up.
I called my husband, and my husband said call the cops, and that's when Mr. Balch did a report.
Do you recall... Go ahead.
Sorry. And I seen the cops that morning too. So I'm sure probably the cops seen him walking with the camera. Because it's very rare for someone just to random video.
As she says, her and Mr. Purse video every day on their run. But it's very rare for someone to have a camera. Very contradicting, very hypocritical. This is Lenawee County, folks.
That early in the morning. We run with a GoPro because we put it on Facebook and talk to people about running.
Understood. Before that date,
Understood.
December, had you had any interactions with the defendant?
No. I didn't know him.
You didn't even know he was your neighbor at that time?
Correct.
Is that fair to say?
Again, I lived at this residence for 4 years. This is the only interaction I've had with these people. And I got a stalking charge from it.
Now, after September 2021, is it true there was another incident on January 4th of 2022?
I don't know what exactly the dates were, but yeah. I have several incidents with him.
In early January?
Correct.
Of 2022?
Are you referring to when she almost hit me with her car, counselor? Because we have video of that. I got in trouble for posting it before by Judge Anselone, but I may repost it again just to test the waters of my First Amendment right.
Those take place in the city of Tecumseh?
Correct.
County of Lenawee, state of Michigan?
Correct.
So, let's just start with the first incident that you would recall from January of 2022. Could you describe what you were doing at that time?
I was running. I passed by his house. And when we passed by his house, he put the panic. You know how you have that button to panic for your car to see where your car is at? The panic button?
Yes.
Okay. So we go by his house. He hits the window so he can know that we're looking at him, and
This is all nonsense, make-believe. Again, we video all the time. Barry has the camera going all the time when we're running, but they don't have video of this situation happening because it never happened.
his truck is parked on the street, and he puts the panic, when we're running by, he put the panic button so he can know that he's watching us.
Again, is this early in the morning?
Correct. We started around at 7 in the morning.
Okay. Fair to say that nobody else is out on the street or other people are not banging on the windows?
Exactly.
Fair to say no one's out on the street at 7 in the morning, and no one was banging on the windows. I was hanging up a Christmas decoration in my home. These people are hypersensitive, looking for a problem.
By this time, by January 2022, did you know who the defendant was?
Well, yeah, because from September of 21, when I first met him, when he was taking a picture at me, that's when I first met him, and obviously
Again, not taking a picture at you. The video clearly shows I was taking a picture of the garbage, never even turned really to you. So, quit lying. You're a liar. You're a liar.
the other incidents, I noticed him, who he was.
I'll stop right there. Make sure you listen to the testimony where I'm questioning the witness and ask her if she's a business partner of Mr. Purse's in the funeral home, and her reply is no. Even though the prosecutor objected and asked for it to be stricken from the record, which Judge M.Morgan did so, the jury was told not to take that into account. She replied no, that she's not in business with Mr. Purse, when she definitely was, and there's proof of that.
Now, after that date when he was pounding on the windows, isn't it true you had additional observations of him that day?
Correct.
And what were those?
Him walking by my house with his dog, which I know everybody walks their dog, but what coincidence now that I see him, you know what I mean?
These people made it so I couldn't even live. I couldn't go, I guess it was north. That'd be north on this, or no, that'd be south on the street, right? I was only able to exit my house both walking and driving in one direction after Judge Anzalone approved this bogus PPO ex parte without a hearing. Violating my rights, my civil rights, and judges all across this country are doing this kind of stuff for favors for, prominent lawyers that are in the same clique as them, which Mr. Brooks, Michael J. Brooks, is. Continue.
Now that I see him more often, I have the Ring camera. I have, when someone comes by my house, I have notification on my phone who's by my house. And that's not the only incident. The other incident as well is he parked his car in the corner of my house, and he put a camera underneath his car to see what I was doing all the time if I was leaving.
Camera was never on my vehicle. It was to protect my own vehicle. There was a report of a drive-by shooting in Tecumseh, only two blocks from my house. That was in December 21 or 22. A camera on your vehicle is commonplace now. Most new electric vehicles have cameras that are monitoring the vehicle. I could care less what this woman was doing. Obviously, they cared what I was doing. I was under surveillance.
What time I leave him so he can monitor me on his phone. And I have that on my Ring as well.
Now, did you ever observe?
And she says this, I have that on my Ring as well. Never presented in court. It was never part of discovery. It was never mentioned by the police. This is I believe, the only instance where she mentions this.
Drive by your house numerous times?
Yes.
And describe that, please.
Just driving, and he's driving very slow. I mean,
Drove by my house numerous times. Then in her testimony, I believe she says I drove by 4 times in one day. We lived on the same street. There were people that drove by my house that lived on the same street, people that come and go more than others. There's some people that stay in their house or stay at home more often than others. There's other people that run to the store for a bag of chips, a pop, whatever, and leave multiple times during the day. For someone to go by on the street 4 times in the one day and driving slow, where there's an intersection with a stop sign, that's where I would have to stop for a stop sign, and the speed limit is 25 miles an hour in the residential zone. Get over it, lady.
driving a street, obviously you're driving slow when you see a kid, but just creeping at me, slow, and looking towards my house.
Would he do it multiple times a day?
Yep.
How many times would you observe him in one day?
Like 3 or 4 times. And I
3 or 4 times in one day. Oh, forbid. I couldn't leave my house and drive down the street more than 3 times in one day. These people have a problem. They're sick. They're demented. They're delusional. And plain and simple, they're jealous.
at telling my husband, I'm like, why? I don't understand. I never seen this guy. And now that he's
Okay, we'll end that part of the commentary there. I have more coming. Much more videos to come that were suppressed by the Honorable Judge Morgan, showing how unfair and unjust and what a kangaroo court Lenawee County has. That judge was elected under questionable circumstances. The person running against him, she had a hit piece put out the weekend before the election. So a lot of questionable things happened in Lenawee County during that time period. So I will continue to post what I have and test my First Amendment right to be an American. Just like Mr. Trump, the former president of the United States.